What's good, everybody? First of all, can you hear me? Because my headphones was acting up. My boo was knocked out. We was knocked out. I apologize for everybody. I said I was gonna go on a little bit earlier, but it is what it is. I'm on a little bit now because I was knocked out. But hey, let's talk about it right quick since there ain't no sports going on. Just let me know. Can y'all hear me? All right, bet. So what's good, everybody? I don't even know what kind of crowd of Skywalker is like. I know you was waiting for me, dog, but I was like I said, I was knocked out. Got me some good food. Was like, all right, let's do this show, and the next thing you know, I was knocked out, like straight to the fullest. But it is what it is, and the show must go on. So we're gonna rock this out. How's everybody doing tonight? Number one, with no sports going on, I think that's crazy right now with this coronavirus. That's kind of nutty with everything was going on with this. It's just kind of throwing me off with all this thing going on. No NBA basketball, no sports nowhere. My little league basketball team got canceled, and that kind of threw me off. I mean, this this stuff is crazy. Um, kind of no words for this. NCAA tournament canceled. Major League Baseball stopped. I mean, in my opinion, um, you got to be safe. Okay, so let me not jump out there and say this is you can't be safe because you know the way this thing is going on. But I don't know, man. I just feel like the media always. What up, KG? I just feel like the media just always overhypes things, and when something goes on, just like anything with the sports, the media just once the media gets something and runs with it, people just automatically believe everything, and then that's what it goes. I mean, you go into these grocery stores. I don't know what it is about what's going on with y'all out there, but you know, out here, yeah, I don't know if it's frantic, but I'm out here in Columbus, Ohio right now, and Ohio State University runs this stuff out here. Okay, um, Ohio State University is like the bloodline of Columbus, Ohio, and when Ohio State University ain't got nothing going on, especially with football, then it's bad. I mean, that's what really runs this town is Ohio State football. And when they started canceling, you know, our high school basketball games out here, um, no crowds were coming, were allowed to come, and then when they you know shut down the Ohio State as far as they have the spring game out here. That spring game is huge out here. It'd be over 100,000, and it's huge. And they already canceled that. They canceled the classes. Like I said, they hit me up. My coach hit me up a couple days ago. Was like, you know, the rest of our season is canceled for basketball, so that's done. Um, Hopefully we'll see what happens. The good thing about this with the NFL is that the NFL is not going on right now. Because if it was right now, probably wouldn't be even no NFL if it was right now. So the good thing is the NFL don't start until August, September, season going down. So there's still a little bit of time. I think the draft is going to be I don't definitely don't think they're going to cancel the draft. But as far as fans going to Vegas, I feel like that's done. I made a post about that being done. I think that's done. I was ready to punch my ticket there. Shout out to everybody that was helping out to get Big Game James to the draft. But I don't think that's going to happen with the fans going to the draft with everything going down the way, especially Vegas, especially with travel. So I really don't see fans going there. So that blows my trip going there. And I just hope this stuff gets rectified for the NFL because, you know, um, NFL football, I love all the other sports and I love me some basketball, but my football, Cowboys always rule and trump everything in the whole world to me. Um, Anything more than any other team I ever like, it's always been Cowboys. So for me not to see a Cowboys season all year, that would be all bad. So hopefully this stuff gets cleared up. Hopefully, you know, they figure this out and whatever. Because this stuff right now is absolutely crazy. It's like we can't even. It's like you know you can't even deal with nobody no more without talking about this coronavirus, and it's just very annoying to me. Your thoughts on it, right quick? I'm sorry if I haven't been looking at it, but what's your thoughts, real quick? Yep, I definitely do. What's up, Brandon Bass? About Brandon Ross, what's up with you, big dog? Shane Scott, yeah. Do you think this will affect the draft? Like I said, I definitely think it's going to affect the people that attended. There's not going to be people attending, but you don't. The fans make it, but they don't really need to have the fans there. You know you can call in, especially even with free agency. Free agency is still going to be going on strong, and that's a good thing because you can call, like a lot of people have been saying, you can call free agents. You don't have to meet a free agent. You can meet them, but you can just call them over the phone, make those deals, that type of nature. So that's not going to be a big thing. It's not going to be big crowds doing that. So that's why it's good that that won't be affected right now. We see a little bit of the effects with the CBA about the meetings and things of that nature, but hopefully we'll see. I ain't talking about no Dak Prescott right now because we'll just see what that contract happen. I believe it is going to get signed, whatever. But I want to just talk about these free agents right quick, if I can get y'all's time. Two more people. I mean, well, my dog Skywalker, if he's still in here, shout outs to you, big dog. I think he did a video right quick about Damon Snacks Harrison, and then Linval Joseph of the Minnesota Vikings just got released or being released. Um, folks, this free agent draft is just it's just too nutty. You feel me? Like the Cowboys really have to do something in free agency this year. They really can't play around with free agency this year because this is the year. A lot of times when we look at the Cowboys and we've seen how they bargain based and shopped, and it's been okay because they've been able to get away with it because of the offensive talent I fully believe they really built up. And then Willie McClay, Stephen Jones, the scouts in Dallas, they have really did a pretty good job of solidifying the team through not great players, but through defense and then building around it. But they really built that offense up. But this is a year in free agency that you cannot have a bargain shopping year. You don't have to break the bank for some of these people, but you got to make some move in free agency this year, especially when defensive tackle, again, safety, again, is a position of need. You got a different staff who probably is going to finally address that need with versatile type players. And we feel like the defensive tackle might finally have some big guys because we've seen them under Tom Sula and Mike Nolan. We've seen those guys work with them. So you're more excited when you see a Snacks Harrison get released. You're more excited when you see a Linval Joseph get released because the prior staff, if this was happening with Jason Garrett and his staff still, you wouldn't be excited because we would all be saying, well, you know what? Them is great additions, and we love to get them, but Dallas ain't doing it because Marinelli ain't getting the one tech like that. He ain't getting the big boy. They're going to be the rotational defensive tackles. Now you have a staff that actually finally might go after him. And when you look at the stats, now, number one, both those guys got released were making big money. So that's why you probably saw the release. But I'm going to show a little bit of Snacks Harrison just through my Facebook. Man, Snacks Harrison still got he still got the juice. You know what I'm saying? What's your kind of thoughts on it? What up, Lee Norman? Oh, wow, they ran a WWE show. Wow, that's crazy. No people. Respect the Star says, do you think Tristan Hill will step up behind Woods? I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. We need to find somebody that's even going to take that spot. They need a starter at the one tech right now because Malik Collins, to me, he's good as gone. Okay. Um, like I said, right now you really just have. I mean, Covington is coming back. He's not a major guy. You got Kerry Hyder Jr., who I feel like I would see what the Cowboys would look at with the right price for him. But I think Covington isn't. I thought he would do a little bit better than he did last season. So if he were to walk, I'm not tripping over him. But I would like for the Cowboys to do something with Kerry Hyder Jr. You got the guys behind him with Jelks, but he's at linebacker. Obviously, Joe Jackson, who came in, and Dorrance Armstrong Jr. at the defensive ends, but you see the glaring need at the defensive tackle position. Antoine Woods is an exclusive, restricted free agent, so the Cowboys are going to be able to get him back in a good deal. He wants to come back, but at the end of the day, he is more of a backup guy. Now, he's not, I played some video of him, he's not a guy that you forget about, but he's not a guy that you sit there and say he's a difference maker. He went undrafted for a reason. He never really got a chance at Tennessee, and I'm not disrespecting him at all, but I don't feel like he's just that big time starter that the Cowboys need. And if you got a Snacks Harrison, who's a 6'4", 330, a Linval Joseph, who's been both of them guys have been dogs, and not even just them. Just here's just a quick name of the guys that are available right now. Linval Joseph, I mean, at 44 tackles, 33 sacks. I mean, 33 sacks, 3 sacks. I know the price was high with them 12 mil, but you're not gonna get that in free agency. He's gonna have to sign for less. Snack Harrison, 48 tackles from the defensive tackle position. He's been nasty. Michael Brockers, who's a guy who played alongside Robert Quinn. I mean, 29 years old, 63 tackles last year. Dontario Poe, Mike Daniels still out there. I've been telling you about Jordan Phillips, Michael Pierce. So many guys. Vernon Butler, who's a guy I did on the cheap that Pennell. There's a lot of defensive tackles out here that you can afford because the Cowboys are going to have money. Even if they sign a Dak Prescott, which they will, and if they put the tag on Cooper, they'll still be having to have enough money. Where I told y'all, when people were talking about Tyrone Crawford, right? Tyrone Crawford, we understand. I ain't hating on you, Tyrone Crawford, but at the end of the day, dog, look, he's 30 years old, right? A little bit injury prone. And no, he's not a sexy guy, but he is a versatile guy. He can play the 1, he can play the 3, he can play outside for you, he can play multiple positions. But at the end of the day, if you were, let's say, release him and you saving that $8-9 million, you can't use that money for one of these guys out here right now. That wouldn't make sense. So you will replace a Tyrone Crawford, but if you're able to get a Snacks Harrison or a Linval Joseph for a 1 to 2 year deal, and you're going to keep Crawford, who you're probably going to get rid of anyway next year, why not go ahead and make that happen now? I understand the locker room, but this is a new staff. This is a new Don. This is a new era. So got to make things happen. And I just feel like if you got those options out there in Tyrone Crawford, I'm gonna go with those options. I'm gonna save that money, and I'm gonna go out there and get one of them big boys that can still make things happen. I mean, I'm gonna show you just a quick thing of Damon Snacks Harrison. That was just on my Facebook. I seen this on Twitter, and my boy Snacks Harrison still gets it in while we'll be talking. And I'm gonna play this right quick. Snacks Harrison still getting it in. I'm gonna show you, and this is just on my Facebook, and I'm gonna be talking while we're watching this. But Big Boy Snacks Harrison still gets this in, man. He's still a threat. He's still a beast. You feel me? That boy is still nice. He still got a lot to offer, and I think the Cowboys really need to look at this defensive tackle free agency. They can't really play around with this. This is a situation, in my opinion, that they can't go in there and say, oh, well, let's go ahead and just sign a Covington or get a Hyder and not go after those guys that we really want. You know what I'm saying? Because there's too much out there this year. This is too much of a plethora year for you not to go out and address that position. Even at safety, Von Bell. I mean, we got some of the top guys out there, but all the way around, every position as far as, you got linebacker, safety. There's a lot of guys in free agency that you can really touch, and you have the money to afford it. You're going to have to jump out there and be a player in free agency this year, because if you're not, it's going to hurt you. And you can't say, well, we're okay with what we have right now, and we're not going to overpay. You ain't got to overpay, but when you got talent out there, you got to make this happen. What up, Ready Red? They call it the draft before the draft after the draft. Angel Rodriguez says, "What's the biggest concern?" And I don't know. My internet is going a little slow. I was trying to switch up, so if you see something funny come up, I apologize about that. But Angel Rodriguez, what's the bigger concern, D line or secondary? That's tough right now, because Byron Jones is still in the fold. Um, but if you're talking about, since Byron Jones is still there, you would say D line. Because that's tough. That might be a toss up right there, Angel, because both of them are hurting. Because if you look at the secondary right now, it doesn't look great. Especially because they're going to lose Byron Jones. Somebody's going to sign him. He ain't coming back for no discount, and they're probably not going to tag him, so he's going to be gone. Your starter's going to be Cheeto and Jordan Lewis at the time. So you would say um, that looks a little bare. But at D line right now, as you see some of this, like I said, I apologize. I think my internet is running slow, so we'll see what happens with this. I'm gonna come back to it, so I apologize if it doesn't stay on and comes back to me. I think it's just a little lag. But let me just jump out there and answer the question. Now let me duck the question: D line or secondary? Which is the bigger concern? I'm in my heart D line. You got to figure that out because you got too many unprovens. You got Demarcus Lawrence, but he's the only one under contract, and your other guys are out there. I think D line because it starts up front. It doesn't start on the back end with me. It always starts up front, and you got to be able to solidify that front. You can have a great secondary, but if your front is terrible, if your front four, if you can't put any pressure on a quarterback, that doesn't matter because that quarterback is still going to be able to get passes because those corners can't cover all day. But if you got a fierce front four, as we saw in Super Bowls, when Brady got beat up against the Giants, when you got a front four that is nasty and can make penetration and can stop the run and can do those type of things, and you don't have to blitz all the time, and you can drop your linebackers in coverage, it's a lot better. So I'm gonna say the bigger concern with me would be the D line because you really need to address it. Because if you don't address it, and if you don't touch it this year in free agency, that's gonna be a big mistake. But I just don't see this new staff coming in with the Tom Sula and the Mike Nolans of the world and the George Brooks and those guys coming in saying, you know what, we're like where we're at, and we're just going to roll with it. I think they're definitely going to be the players, and they're going to be that. If they're that players in the free agency, it's really going to help as far as what the draft is going to do. So Cowboys, don't play around this year. Don't play around in this draft. I mean, in this draft, number one, but don't play around in free agency. Free agency has got to be key for the Cowboys, and they have to jump out there, and they're going to have to really touch one of these defensive tackles that have made some noise for some years in the NFL. They can't play around with this position. What's up, Stevie Mac 23? You feel me? Respect the star. What do you feel about Dallas trying to keep Cooper Rush? Do you think that's a mistake? Yeah, I mean, I think they need to get somebody else. What is Cooper Rush ever going to do? And do we really feel like if Dak Prescott goes down, Cooper Rush is going to hold the team up or keep the team together? Maybe if you got in my opinion, now that you got a Mike McCarthy who is a better coach, in my opinion, than Jason Garrett, maybe he can do some things. But I don't want to trust that. I don't trust a Cooper Rush for nothing. I mean, he's another guy who went undrafted, and nobody's going after Cooper Rush if you release him. Nobody's jumping up and saying, "Oh, let's put him in as our backup, this or this." None of that's happening. So yes, I want a better option than a Cooper Rush, and I definitely feel like they're in trouble and they need to address that. And even now, they have some guys that they have looked at and have options that have been on the practice squad that are better than Cooper Rush, in my opinion. So yes, they need to move on from that. A veteran would be great that you could find out there, but that position needs addressed, and I don't feel good with Cooper Rush being the backup. Donation, donation, donation. That just kicked in. The Tourette's. Sorry, the Tourette's just kicked in. I will try to show some video, but like I said, I think this internet be lagging. We need to get that thing fixed. To be making me mad. But like I said, the more than anything else, Cowboys got to be a player with these defensive tackles, man. Could you imagine? Just think about this right quick. And like I said, I'm not saying these guys because I watched some film on Snacks, but I haven't got to watch some film on Linville, so I don't. But come on, I mean, that dude. I would love to have one of these 6'4", 325s and can still move and be effective and, and make penetration and knock guys to the ground, making it easier for Jalen Smith, Van Der Esch, he comes back, making it easier for the linebackers. Dallas has been so long for us been seeing that. We've been so used to seeing these small, quick defensive tackles and Cowboys getting pushed around in the third and fourth quarters because they're wearing down the middles. You get what I'm saying? And now I feel like with the new staff they have, we don't have to sit there and say, "Oh, when are they going to make the adjustment? This offense is killing us with screens. This offense is killing us with bootleg. This offense is killing us with these same plays over and over." I feel like this staff is going to be more aggressive and be able to switch up on the fly and won't be hard-headed and going into a third and fourth quarter saying, "Oh, we're going to continue to play this and we're going to be okay." I think that's going to be a different thing from this staff, and I feel like they're really going to make a concerted effort to hit that middle, and they need to. Brandon Ross, if I could choose one free agent, who would it be? My number one free agent that I want has been Jordan Phillips, even with Snacks Harrison out there, Poe out there. That was Brandon Ross, matter of fact. I asked that question. Appreciate you, dog. Um, Jordan Phillips is my guy. He's still young, 27 years old. I think he'll come at a good price. Um, 6'6", 340. I love that size and athletic ability. 10 sacks last year. Um, I feel like you can afford him, and he's a guy that you can build with. And you get him, now you're feeling good in the draft. You can get another defensive tackle, but if a Ken Law is gone or if a Derek Brown is gone, now you can sit there and say, well, we can wait till us maybe second round and get him out of BK. There's going to be other guys available in that second and third, maybe possibly fourth round that can still, I feel like, make some waves for you at the defensive tackle position. But Jordan Phillips is my guy that I've been liking day one, and I'm not going to move away from it. Even with Snacks Harrison's and those guys out there nasty, but I like a younger, bigger version, like a David Irvin type body. And he's the guy I really wanted to target from day one, and I really hope the Cowboys stay with that. Yeah, I know he came off a big season. He may be expensive because he's probably going to probably try to command money. But like I said before, the good thing about it is that there's a lot of defensive tackles out there. So that it's all about the market, y'all. Just like with the Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper, it's all about how the market is looking. People are going to see how people sign in that market. So with so many defensive tackles being out there this year, quality defensive tackles this year, it's going to see how the market goes. So if you see one of these big name guys getting signed first, see how they get signed, and then you'll see how the trickle down effect, because that's how you'll see the other free agents be signed. They're always looking for that first one free agent, and then they kind of trickle down on how they're going to sign the players after that in free agency. So really, we're going to have to see how that market goes with those guys, especially with these big names just getting released. Sure, there's going to probably be more, but with those particular guys being released, if one of the first ones gets signed, they're going to be looking at that. I think Jordan Phillips can still be had. Like I said, if you were paying a Tyrone Crawford $8 million this year at 30 years old, obviously you want him taking a pay cut for him to stay on the roster. But you can for sure use that money for losing him to gain a Phillips. In my opinion, you cut him, you keep that money. Who are you going to take? $8 million for a Tyrone Crawford, or $8 or $9 million for a Jordan Phillips? And I don't think the extension would be super crazy. They need to look at that. How do I feel about Brandon Jones from safety from Texas? He's a sleeper. I didn't get to watch a lot of Texas football this year, I'm gonna be honest with you, Ross, and I'm a Texas fan, but I just really had a lot of things going on. I really couldn't focus on it this year. Looked okay. I think he sat out some things in the combine. I don't think he ran at the combine. Ashton Davis, I actually did see tape on him and focused tape on him. I think he was a guy that were a lot of people on early. Um, To me, he's not a thumper. He's not. He can run, but he doesn't seem super athletic to me. Um, can play the ball pretty good. But to me, Ashton Davis is this. When everybody was talking about him, I said, "Let me watch this guy." But he doesn't have anything that really jumps out to me if we're talking about safeties right now. If I'm looking at between Jones and Ashton Davis, I mean, uh, Jones is not too much farther away from Ashton Davis. I mean, Ashton Davis, like I said, he's a solid player, but I'm not as high on him like a lot of people are. I'm just not from what I've seen from the tape I watched and the games I watched with him at Cal. What up, always a lady? Do I think Cobb stays? Not at 7 million per. Not at 7 million per. Um, if Dallas were to pay that, that was definitely not going to be a smart, in my opinion. Especially the way they're trying to allocate money everywhere else. I just feel like there's too many good young receivers in this draft, and if his asking price is $7 million a year, I'm not. I'm me personally, I'm not doing that for a 30-year-old receiver. Even though he was relatively healthy, and that was one of the things they were worried about, and he had a good year after 55 catches, over 800 yards. Had a good year as a third receiver, can play multiple positions and play in the slot and special teams. So you love that versatility. But if you're still trying to move or allocate money around, I think my personal opinion that they would be better off going with a young receiver and saving that money and going that route. Let me see right here. But we shall see. Like I said, this thing that's going on right now, it's coronavirus. We're really going to see how it's going to really affect the NFL. It's good that it's not affecting the NFL right now. That's a great thing that it's not affecting the NFL right now as far as season play. Things are going on like that. But man, just really has thrown a damper on a lot of things. Even talking about the game right now, because so much uncertainty. We don't know if this thing is going to get better, if it's going to get worse. I personally feel like it's going to go away. And, we've been hearing in the news and the media about certain all these diseases or infections all come up during election years and things of that nature. I think all that stuff I think all that stuff is grimy, man. Like this stuff that happens is happening on Earth, in my opinion. Not to sidetrack from what we're talking about right now, but this stuff that's happening on Earth is just. I just feel like the government does a lot of this stuff, man. And I'm not trying to get political right now, but I just feel like when we see these kind of things that just come out of nowhere, you're just Ebola just comes out of nowhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? Coronavirus that comes out of nowhere. SARS. I mean, these things just come out of nowhere, you know, and it's in certain spots where it happens. And I just feel like there's just so many things that the government does and allows. And if we really knew a lot of the truths, we'd be tripping. And I don't know. This seems funny to me how this came out of nowhere, and it's just happening like this. So, um, it I don't know. It would make sense because on our side of the government, because you're losing all this money through sports by doing all this um, delaying, suspending, canceling. That's a lot of money being lost. And then if you're going to have the NBA again, which is suspended for at least 30 days, think about how you have to reschedule all those events because the NBA, you would say they're going to cancel their regular season, just go to the playoffs because it wouldn't, how would they reschedule all those games and reschedule the TV venues? I mean, that's just a lot of things you have to reschedule, and that's why it would be crazy if it would happen to football because of all those outlets. And let's say you miss 3 or 4 games or 5 or 6 games, and you come back and play, and you got to make those games up. You got to figure out all that stuff with TVs and TV shows that were set at this time, and you got to move that around. All that stuff got to take place. So that's the big monkey wrench to me that we're going to see what's really going to happen. because you got all these other leagues that are delayed. And when they do start, they're not going to be starting at the normal. So when they start, like the NHL, if it starts back up, or Major League, since spring training, all these events that are going on as normal, are they going to make up those games? Is it going to interfere with soccer? Is going to interfere with baseball? It's just crazy what's going on. So I just hope this stuff gets rectified, because I hate not having sports, and I understand about the health of the people. But I'm one of these people, as far as with this coronavirus, that I'm not tripping over this stuff. Like, oh my God. Now, let me not lie and say we didn't go grocery shopping. Let me not lie and say we didn't do that. We did that. I can't front and say we did that. But I'm not the spooky guy with the girl. Oh my God, we're gonna die, and this is this. I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna be panicking over this kind of stuff. I'm just not gonna do it. Like this. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not gonna be panicking over this stuff. Uh, There's so many this crazy things that go on outside. It just makes you shake your head. Just makes you just make things. Remember that song? If you older, things that make you go, hmm. That's what I be thinking when I see all these stuff that's happening in the world right now. Things that make you go, hmm. Brandon Ross. I saw Kenneth Murray is doing a pre-draft visit with us. I'm totally down with the linebacker. Yes, I totally agree. Now, I seen Kenneth Murphy at the combine. He looked damn good as far as chiseled everything, and plays the right way, great speed. And the thing about him, he's a leader. Had a little bit of background in his family. He was taking care of three of his siblings, and they were special needs kids. Man, I mean, that thing was awesome what he's done. So we definitely need to get another linebacker. I want to see with what Luke Gifford has to offer. Hopefully he can stay healthy, because I think he'll be a good addition. But they do need to get depth back there. Joe Thomas is another guy that I want to see what he can bring back. He didn't play the greatest toward the end of last year. Joe Thomas didn't. I was a little bit surprised. I don't know if that was the Garrett thing going and he wanted a new staff, because guess what? Joe Thomas played under Mike McCarthy, and guess what? Joe Thomas had his best year under Mike McCarthy with 70 tackles, and that was part-time. So you definitely like to see him back in the fold too. But I definitely feel like they should get a linebacker. I don't know about real early. LVE scares me with the neck injury as well. I'm still paranoid about it, but I don't know how early you want to go and get a linebacker. Definitely, I don't want to jump out there with a first round linebacker. Um, so third, fourth, maybe, but you got to see how this happens with the free agency. I think that's the biggest thing. If the Cowboys are players in free agency, that's where you're going to see what happens with this board and the draft. Do they trade down? They're really going to have to do something in free agency, because I don't want the Cowboys to say, you know what, we're okay where we're at, and we're really going to draft hard and put all our eggs in the draft. You know, a lot of times they put a lot of their emphasis on the draft and those guys playing early, and if those guys don't play early or pan out, you see what happens. You see what the draft or the 2019 draft. I mean, we're not going to say it was a waste, because it was only 1 year, but you couldn't rely on any of them players from last year. So you got to get them free agents this year to make it happen. Hey ho, I got a 199 holla for my dog, Young Wilson. Aloha, bro. Stay safe with that virus. Hey, Young. Tell me what's going on in Hawaii. How's it affecting you guys out there? I need to hear what you got to say about that. Ah, Jawan James, I hear you, big dog. What's up, Jawan? How you big doing? Charles Browns, I'm cool on Rhodes. I even when before Rhodes got released, I was cool on him. I can show you his numbers right quick. I posted on the page. His numbers have just steadily gone down. Had pretty much a career worst just because he went to the Pro Bowl. I don't know how he got to the Pro Bowl, because he had one of his worst years as a pro. Um, and I just feel like he's on the downside. Now, maybe they say, well, maybe it was a scheme. I don't think so. I just feel like he's more on the downside of his career. Um, and I think if you're going to look at somebody, Chris Harris, who's another guy I said who's older, and I wouldn't jump out there because he might cost more money. But if you look at the bigger names, Xavier Rhodes or Chris Harris or anything like that, I would look at a Chris Harris before Xavier Rhodes any day. That would be a better option for me. Would be a Chris Harris. Wow, it's locked down over there too. Now I definitely hear what you're saying with that Shaq Lawson deal. He's a guy I've been keeping my eye on for a while. Um, but as we said before, just here's some things. So I mentioned the defensive tackles, right? We were just talking about defensive tackles. Now, I mean, let's see. So I think if the Cowboys go after anybody, when we had talked about this earlier, as far as the cornerbacks, um, instead of the Rhodes, a Trey Waynes will be out there because he'd be a cheaper option. He's younger. He's a little bit younger. He's cheaper, and I see the Cowboys. Hey ho, another 199. Holla! I want a defensive tackle so bad this year with the safety. I feel you, but I just feel a Trey Waynes will be more feasible for the Cowboys, getting another young corner who has not had a terrible year, and then them going out and drafting a quarter. Because as I said before, I think C.J. Henderson could be a real possibility of 17 if they stay there, especially if they address that defensive tackle in the draft. I mean, in the free agency, and those two big names of Kinlaw and Brown are gone. Because I don't think they should go after a defensive tackle. If those two guys are gone, they don't need to touch a defensive tackle in the first round at all, not in my opinion. So we shall see. But let's see. I want to say one more thing before I get off here because I am. But I want to ask y'all before I get off of here. Tell me how are y'all doing? I want to ask y'all. We talked a little bit of football. We ain't got to talk all day, but I want to really ask y'all how's everybody feeling over there? Y'all have any of y'all families been affected by this? My kids just got taken out of school for 3 weeks. None of my that I know of, none of my immediate family or anything like that has happened with them that I've heard of. I am a little more cautious. My sons are out there. They're a little bit older, so I don't get to see them as much. So there's my concern with that, but pretty much, hey ho, I got another 199. Holla, appreciate you, young Wilson. Definitely need to get a receiver. But how's everybody else staying out there with this? So you said you're out in Fort Hood, everybody's freaking out. So is everything going out there like that? I'm in Columbus, Ohio. So where give me where y'all live at right now, rep your state, and then tell me how is it in your state? That's what I want to know. In your state that you are at, rep your state first, and then tell me in your state what is the how is in a quick little nutshell so I can read it what is the state of mind out there, or is it a panic mode out here? Because right here in Columbus, Ohio, is it a panic mode? I'm not gonna say it's a panic mode, but I say they're being super, super cautious. They're locking everything down, like they're shutting everything down. Like I said, when they shut down Ohio State for a lot of its things, the town is really shutting down. So I'm not saying they're freaking out here. I don't see people freaking out, but I do feel like people are being super cautious with it. Yes, we love you, young Wilson. He hey ho with the hollers today. Love you, dog. Young tells me Hawaii is on lockdown. All sports on hold. Schools might get closed. College online only. Hawaii is in panic mode. I would say Hawaii would probably be more in panic mode because it's smaller. You know what I mean? Yeah, all our toilet paper is going out here too. Water and toilet paper is gone. Juwan James tell me folks buying all toilet paper and disinfectant supplies. I feel like we're preparing for the worst. Yeah, man, that toilet paper thing, that's kind of weird and crazy. Everybody goes for toilet paper. Um, but I guess if you're locked down in the crib, you got to wipe your butt. So you got to have toilet paper. Andre Robinson says, I would love Linval Joseph and Javon Kinlaw and the Mighty Quinn killer front four, fam. I feel you on that, but yeah. Because if you got a Kinlaw, let's say that tendonitis, but you don't know if y'all heard, he might have reports that he's got a chronic need like a Todd Gurley. He may have a bad knee like arthritic need like a Todd Gurley, and if that goes on, that ain't good. But let's say he dropped and he has the knee. Let's say you get a Linval Joseph or a Jordan Phillips, and you got a Kinlaw available. Would you scoop him with a bad knee? Or would you go after a corner or a safety like a Delpit or a Henderson if they're there? Kinlaw with a bad knee. Let's say you got Jordan Kelly. Okay, let's say you got a good defensive tackle. Kinlaw's there. He got the bad knee though. You got C.J. Henderson right there. Grant Delpit, maybe a receiver. You still gonna mess with Kinlaw, or you gonna let him slide and go after a corner? What's your thoughts? Hey, appreciate you, young Wilson. I appreciate all your donation, and the hollers today. I love you for life, and I appreciate all you do for the nation. I love you, and you be safe out there in Hawaii and aloha, and I love you for life. All right, so, word to Mr. Terry Turner. Georgia on the way. So, I'm hearing y'all. Tyrone Church says, still get Kinlaw's talent's too good. Brandon Ross says, Delpit, in my opinion, has the highest upside. Stevie Mack says Henderson or a receiver over Kinlaw at 17. Safety are only worth it if you on the trade if to trade back. Young Wilson says take the risk on Kinlaw. So a lot of y'all saying even with a degenerative knee, even if he had a degenerative knee, you would still go because remember, Cowboys took that chance on Ron Leary, but they didn't spend a first round pick on him. I mean Jalen Smith, he had the knee as well, and they took him, and it panned out. Um, Ron Leary, like I said, he went undrafted because of that bad knee, and he's been okay. His career, obviously, you've been seeing him going on more on the downside, but that knee is held up longer than we thought. But y'all would still take Kinlaw with the degenerative knee. If you got a nice, really good defensive tackle like a Jordan Phillips, or you got a Snacks Harrison or a Linval Joseph, let's say you got one of those guys on a 3 or 4 year deal, and then, like I said, Kinlaw dropped because he had a degenerative knee. Excuse me. Lord have mercy. Don't say corona because I sneezed either. but me sneezing over there, boy. Watch it. That's crazy, ain't it? But I ain't gonna lie. Somebody sneeze to you now, you like, hey, don't freaking sneeze on me. Arm, elbow bump, all that. But would you still take Kinlaw with a degenerative knee? And Henderson and Delpit are there? And you already got a nice defensive tackle in the free agency. That's just funny. That's just funny. Jay Robinson gives me a F no. I'm gonna learn to stop being. I haven't cussed a lot on my shows, but I'm gonna learn to do a little better. Okay. But we're gonna get some videos together since obviously the league has everything has stopped, sports has stopped, so it'll be time to get some more videos together. I picked up a little side job, um, so the time I had more time to be able to drop some videos, and I've been doing a few videos, breakdowns of some guys I like. Did Tyler Eifert, who I do like, Vernon Butler. Also, who else did I do? Hey ho, $10 holla from Brandon Ross. Donation, donation, donation. We appreciate you, Brandon Ross. First of all, we appreciate you for coming with them fire questions. Questions. You have great questions, dog. I'm going to just give you shout outs. Your questions are good. You have good ass questions. And we appreciate you for helping growing the nation. Thank you for growing the nation. Yeah, I feel you. Now, I will totally agree with you, Mr. Call on Tyrone. I love calling that. But I feel what you're saying with Tyrone. That's why I was saying when you had the question of Angel Rodriguez asked the question, what would you look at first? Defense, what would be the biggest concern, D line or secondary? I would say you definitely got to, because the game starts up front. The game starts up front. And if you ain't doing nothing up front, it don't matter about. I mean, even when I was coaching, the main thing I always wanted to do, um, the first thing I wanted to do, whenever we came in our season, I won two championships, two undefeated championships, and my last championship we won, we were undefeated. It was like they're pretty much almost like they were like eighth graders. But the biggest thing I did whenever I coached was you want to get, when you have it's funny when you watch the kids on your tryouts, right? And you're looking at the kids, you're looking at them in your pre camps and your drills, and you're watching these kids. The main thing I always wanted more than anything else, right? When I was looking for kids to recruit, not them fast kids. Yeah, I wanted them kids, not them kids that I wanted super athletes. But what I wanted more than anything else was that offensive line and defensive line. That was the main thing I wanted in any of my teams. I had to have a good line, because if you don't got a line, you ain't doing nothing. It don't matter how great of a receiver you got. Don't make great of a running back you got. Tight end, none of that matters if you can't block up front. Just like the defense. It don't matter how good them corners is and safeties. If you can't do nothing up front, it's a wrap. So I feel you what you're saying, Tyrone. I'm always down. I'm a defensive guy, always coach defense, but that front is everything. I remember when, like I said, when we won our last championship, that was 2014. Then I got out of coaching like right after, like around 2016, because my kids had, hit high school. But I ran a 3-4 our championship year, and my son played for me because he's a big boy. He played in the middle. Um, and boy, we was murdering people because my front was nasty. My three guys up front were nasty, and they controlled the line of scrimmage. And I could do so many other things with my linebackers, my corners, my safeties. I could blitz you in so many spots because I could hold that front with them three. And when I went to a 4-man front, I could hold that because I had big athletic kids that could do damage. And that's what really made it so much easier, made the game so much easier when you can control the front and the line of scrimmage. Yeah, I know. Listen to this, though, Brandon. I know you'll sit there and say Tyler Offrey is injury prone. I feel you. But look at this. Blake Jarwin played 39% of the snaps. Tyler Eifert played a little over 40. This was his first season playing 16 games, and you know why? Didn't play a whole lot of snaps. Didn't play like 60, 70 games, less injury. You started Blake Jarwin. Not saying you don't worry about the injuries, but You start a Blake Jarwin, and then you have a guy that can block, and this guy is a good, serious threat. We've seen that he can score touchdowns in that red zone. He had 13 touchdowns like in 2015. I feel like that'd be a good option, a 1-2 year deal. He ain't going to cost a lot of money, and like I said, he played 16 games last season. He's worth a look, especially if he comes through on the cheap. Because there's some tight ends out there, but a lot of the good tight ends are going to be franchised. They're going to be signed up, and I think he's a good option. Man. And then I'm just gonna kind of end it with like this because I gotta hit the work early in the morning, man. I gotta hit work early in the morning. They got me working hard as hell. But we're gonna get some more video breakdowns I got coming in. Some more free agents that I like. Some college players that we can possibly look at. And then we'll just be seeing what's going to happen with this DAC thing because with this coronavirus, I wonder if it's gonna have any play in anything. But next week is when it really starts going down. Franchise tags, free agency, it's all right here in our face now. So next week is going to be really good. So make sure you're tuning in to Silver and Blue Nation next week so we can talk about this Dak thing. We can talk about this Amari thing. We can talk about this Byron Jones thing because we're going to get a little bit clearer view of what's going to be happening next week with all these major things that are going to be starting in the fold with franchise tags, free agency, all that good stuff. So please tune in. We're going to have the fire. Videos coming. Fire coming with that late night hype on Tuesday. Please go out there and support that. And also the Dallas Cowboy DC4L download. We will be doing 2 shows a month out there. That's strictly on Facebook, so make sure you can get in there. Yes, DC4L is a Facebook group on in Facebook. Obviously, you have to be a member to join. You have to be be a member to get in there. But once you get in there, we'll be me and Ill Will Skywalker still will be doing 2 shows a month out there, and we're really gonna be making that hot. And then, like I said, that late night hype that we got going down on Tuesday, we really, really want y'all to support that because we're really pushing that show to get syndicated. We really want to get that show on air. We're going to push that show to Cyrus Radio. Like we're going hard. We're going to push that show like no other, and we need that support from you guys. So on all outlets, all everything, support it, support it, support it. We all know what that support y'all do at Law Nation, but get out there and support Skywalker still. He's the next young Jedi in this game, and he's the truth. And you know what I bring to the table, and just really get out there and support that because we're really gonna make that go hard in the forefront. All right. Tyrone Church asked me, "Would you rather Eifert at 3 million or Ebron at 6 million?" Whoo, that's a tough one. That's a good ass question, Tyrone. Um, I'm gonna go with Eifert because we got to look at Ebron's been an injury prone player as well. He was injured last year. I'm gonna go with Eifert on the cheaper. Ebron is a good tight end, but I believe Tyler Eifert can do those same things Eric Ebron can. And Eifert's a really good player, so I'm gonna go with Eifert on the 3 because both of them been having injuries. Pretty much their whole career been banged up, and Ebron has been riddled with inconsistency. And Eifert had a pretty good year in part-time duty, and Ebron actually regressed last year in his second year with the Colts. I know it was 5 years ago, but at the end of the day, he's still 29 years old. He ain't no 35-year-old guy. I like Eifert. That's me, my opinion on that. Hey, y'all like somebody else at tight end? Like him. I like Eifert as a free agent. And if you can get him, I think he'd be a good ass choice for the Cowboys. And I don't think anybody would be jumping up mad as hell because you got a Tyler Eifert for the cheap. Hell no. Why would you be mad at that? Yeah, you ain't drafting no Claypool is no tight end dropping that 4-4. He ain't that big. He big, but he ain't built like a tight end big. He a receiver big, but he ain't a tight end big. But Claypool's a guy that I did two mock drafts with, two electronic mock drafts with, and when I did them, Claypool's the guy I picked both times, and that was before he had that crazy combine. So what an addition he would be. He pushed his value up though, because I was thinking he was going to be like around a fourth rounder. But with that 4-4 time and that size and the way he did at that combine, that's definitely going to push him up. But, man, could you imagine him with Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup with that big 6'4", 230 running that? Woo-wee! That would be hot. That'd be fire hot. I'd be excited like no other. Huh. Me, no, I'm not into baseball. I've never been a baseball head. Only time I ever liked baseball is during the series or the playoffs, because then it gets more intense. But I just never been a baseball guy. But I think I've been on long enough. I gotta get back. I gotta get to bed. I gotta get up early for work tomorrow. And we'll be getting some breakdowns. But get out there and support Silver and Blue Nation. Thank you for the donations today. Young Wilson, you went on fire today. Shout out to you. Always got mad love for you from Hawaii. Aloha. I feel so special. And then Brandon Ross with the big $10 holla and the great questions today. Definitely respect you for that. Respect everybody. I appreciate everybody that was in the feed today. Like I said, I kind of went on live on a whim, so I appreciate everybody that was able to come in and we chatted up. Didn't have a lot to talk about today, so I apologize about that. But at the end of the day, the whole point of this show was Dallas Cowboys need to get a defensive tackle in free agency and not one of these bargain guys. They did it last year with Kerry Hyder, and they did it last year with Covington. This is a year that no playing around, full steam ahead, attack this free agency because you can, and it won't cripple the team as far as if you're looking at salary wise. So Cowboys, get out there and make it happen, and I'm excited to see if they are. I think they will. I said there was going to be a splash this year as far as a trade or something in the draft or a trade that the Cowboys are going to do this year, and I'm going to stand by it. So we'll see what happens as they move forward. And just continue to tune in, and we'll get some stuff rocking in this slow period of no sports during the coronavirus time. All right? So shout out to you. Jeremy Chin, before I get off here, what's up, my Cowboys family? All day. Before I get out of here, let me answer this last question from Edward Swing. What do you think of Jeremy Chin? I've been on Jeremy Chin from day one, not A1 day one, but I liked his size and abilities when I read about him. Then when I watched him in the Senior Bowl, he excited me, and then all I wanted to see was how he tested in the combine, and you see how he blew that away. You kind of get scary because he's a small school player, but with those size measurements, you get excited. But we remember the one guy, Obi, I can't remember the last name, from UConn, that he had those great measurements and didn't do anything. I remember Taylor Mays had great measurements like that coming out of USC, didn't do anything. But I think he's a little bit more athletic and can transition, but we shall see. But I do like Jeremy Chin. But let me get up off here. I'm out. Love y'all. We'll talk to you probably tomorrow. Silver Blue Nation, Big Game James. I'm out. Have a great day, great night. Be safe out there and take care of your loved ones. All right?